My dream truck. Another truck for GMC lovers. Wow, he got ripped off. There's no bed here. 85,000 miles and lots of rust. Been tweaked a little bit. A real economical package. This is the 2015 Sierra Denali 2500 4x4 crew cab. And this 4-ton monster can be yours for the reasonable price of $64,900. Now in this case the price is high because we have the Duramax diesel instead of the 360 horsepower gasoline V8. Now the base price of the dual cab GMC is $54,890 with that gasoline engine, but the diesel adds $8,845 to the price. Includes the Allison 6-speed automatic transmission. Then we have some fluff on here. I mean, you got to have the power sunroof at $995, right? You've gone this far. Off-road suspension package, $255. Roof marker lamps. Fifth wheel trailer wiring. All comes down to the $64,900, which is what you figure when you have like 10 grand worth of options. Now this is an awesome power plant, 397 horsepower, but more important, 765 pounds-foot of torque, and it comes on at a low 1600 RPM, just above idle. The EPA doesn't rate gas mileage on vehicles like this, but we'll tell you that at the end of the video. Now in this configuration, we can tow just over 14,000 pounds. If you get the extra dually 3500 series, this engine can pull 23,000 pounds. You can also get up to 4,000 pounds in the bed. I was glad to see the bed liners permanently attached to the metal instead of those crappy drop-in things that GM used to provide that would allow rust to develop underneath. This is a nice one. There's a couple things I didn't like. These running boards. There are far better ways to step in a big truck like this than have these ugly running boards sticking out. I do not care for these things at all. And come on guys, a big vehicle like this and a dinky glove box like this? I've seen bigger glove boxes on a Chevy Cobalt. Fortunately you got a good cargo space in the middle here on the console, but you'll be using it quite often, trust me. Third, the space between the brake pedal and gas pedal is too far away, so when you're in stop and go traffic, instead of just moving the tip of your shoe, you have to move your whole leg. This becomes rather fatiguing in long stop and go traffic trips. Now if you have a size 15 shoe, this won't be an issue, but for smaller people, especially small females, this will be an issue. And last but not least, the chime noise in here is ear-shattering. Way too loud. Don't send me emails telling me this is adjustable. I'm aware of that. I've already got it set down to the lowest possible volume level. If you think this is bad, you should hear it when it's turned up all the way. I guess someone at GM must have deaf ears or something. So turn off your hearing aid. Now these giant mirrors are great to use, but if you're pulling into the local burger stand drive-thru, you might want to retract them like so. Otherwise they're going to fly off when you hit the wall. And these are very, very expensive to replace. Just a note for those who are on the Buy American kick, I've got a sticker here that says this vehicle was built by the United Auto Workers in Flint, Michigan, rather than the discount day laborers in Mexico, like some other trucks are. So if you're buying American, here you go, folks. We have a very nice gauge cluster to look at while you're driving, by the way. Now getting a 0 to 60 time that's around 7.5 seconds doesn't sound like much, but this isn't about 0 to 60, it's about torque, pulling power. You can feel it in the bottom of your pants when taking off. Yeah. Now, normally a heavy-duty truck like this would have a very smooth ride if the bed slowed it down with a few tons, but when empty, usually they bounce you around quite a bit and provide a very bad ride. On the street, this vehicle is not bad at all. Yeah, it does bounce around a bit, but still reasonably comfortable. That is on the street. We haven't done any off-roading yet, so we might be different then. Nice brakes, by the way. Now, since this does have four-wheel drive, we will be taking it out in the desert on some rough trails in a day or two. But let's try a little bit of city trails. Yeah. Bouncing around like a jumping bean. That's not too bad. On second thought. By the way, you have lots of plug-in outlets here on the console. You can plug in a cigarette lighter, a microwave, hair dryer, toaster, you name it. This is why diesels will never sell that well in America. Regular unleaded has dropped down to $2.34, but diesel's still hovering at $3.18, thanks to the EPA regulations. Just for a reference, if you ever own one of these trucks and you have to go downtown or anywhere where there is a parking garage, leave this at home, because if you think you're going to fit in one of these spaces, you are hallucinating. Yeah, even if you ever got in a space like this, you would never be able to back out. Never. Well, I'm only taking 3 spaces. Bound to piss somebody off. By the way, did I mention the roof clearance? Maybe I get up there and change the light bulb for him. Maybe I can trade this in for a Chevy Sprint, huh? Alright, time for a fuel economy check. 52 miles of heavy city driving, 13.7 miles per gallon. A little bit better than the one I had last year. Now, just a note for going off-road, most of the weight on this vehicle is up front. There's very little weight on the rear axle. So if you're going off-road with an empty bed, this rear tire is going to dig in the dirt and you're going to get stuck. Now, fortunately, I have a bunch of weight on the rear because I loaded up with bed with a bunch of firewood. Another good reason for having a high-quality bed liner in the rear of your truck. You see, even with this full bed, I got buried in the sand here. If I didn't have four-wheel drive, I'd still be here. But I do, so I'm not. Now, it's nice to have four-wheel drive traction in this truck, but if you're thinking about using it for hardcore four-wheeling, you might want to think twice. Even with a fully loaded bed, the springs on this are real stiff, and loaded bed or not, you're going off the pavement, you're going to find the fillings in your teeth getting loose. Okay, for a couple of miles or so, but for very long off-road trips, not a good idea. So we're just going to stick to the dirt roads for a while. I just wanted to point out one feature of the navigation system. Now, as you can see on the camera, I'm on a road, which is the road. There is no other road going in this direction. But according to the navigation screen, the road is way over here, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. Once again, there's the road. I don't think this is the fault of General Motors, because actually I've been out here quite a bit with other navigation systems and other brand of vehicles, and it's always showing me there's a road way over yonder, and it's not there. So someone's got their satellite system messed up. If the North Koreans fire a nuclear missile at me, I think they're going to miss. I've also noticed some quirks with the stereo system. Every time I get in the vehicle, I'll see different radio stations that weren't there when I got out. Figure that. Also, I can't read the artist or the song that's up there because these icons block it off. I can't figure that out either. If you know the solution, let me know. It's on the open highway where the GMC really excels. Very smooth, very quiet. Sort of like driving in a 747 jet. And with a big fuel tank, you'll have lots of range. Okay, another fuel economy check. 95 miles on the freeway at 67 miles per hour average. Fuel economy 16.8 mpg. Now the good news is, with a 36-gallon tank, I put over 400 miles on this vehicle and still have a quarter tank left. Of course, the bad news is, when the tank runs dry, it's going to cost me over $100 to fill it. Oh well. Well, no point in having a four-wheel drive unless you use it a little bit. So I thought I'd come out here and get it a little dirty. And I think I'm lost. It's going to be dark in an hour. And GM thinks they're getting this truck back tomorrow morning. Maybe they're not. No, I'm not really lost. I just came out here to check out the homestead. And since I'm going to have an empty tank soon, I might tell you what the fuel economy was on this truck. EPA does not rate a vehicle of this size. So the only way to find out is to drive it yourself or ask somebody. This vehicle is getting 13 miles per gallon in heavy city traffic, 16 to 18 at freeway cruising. And if you hit the back roads around 55 to 65, you can reach 20 miles per gallon. Now, since the gasoline V8 does about the same, you might ask, well, why get a diesel? Actually, it has to do with towing. You see, right now, I'm not towing anything and I have an empty bed. But if you put 15,000 pounds behind this rig, the gasoline engine is going to guzzle a lot of gas, while the diesel isn't going to guzzle as much. Now, I don't tow myself, but I've talked to a lot of people that do. And according to them, if you get the gasoline engine on a vehicle like this, pulling maximum output, you might get 6 to 7 miles per gallon on the gasoline engine, but 11 to 12 on the diesel on a good day. Now, of course, these are estimates and guesstimates, so it's not engraved in stone. But the bottom line is, if you're towing, you're going to get better mileage on a diesel than you are on a gasoline engine, because the diesel's always operating at maximum output. Remember, the maximum torque operates at 1600 RPM, which is just above idle. Bottom line, if you're doing a lot of towing, you really should get the diesel engine. If you're not doing any towing, then why would you want a giant monster like this to begin with? You know, everyone who saw this truck or rode in it was very impressed, including me. But when I told them the price tag starting at 56 grand and ending price in the 60s, they all balked. And I just don't understand why they don't get it. When you consider all the vehicle you're getting here, frankly, I think it's kind of a bargain. I mean, come on, if you gave the Europeans 50 to 60 grand, what would you get? A dinky little SUV that's going to fall apart when the warranty's going out? While the Japanese make nice trucks, they don't make anything that compares to this. When you're driving this, you're definitely king of the road. For those who want a less expensive truck, we have a link coming up on the Chevy Silverado we tested if you want to watch that. Nice truck for a lot less money.